Hey guys, Cam for 15, back at another video for you guys. Back with another Oshi No Ko episode review for you guys. As we continue on, and I have two more episodes of Oshi No Ko season 2 I have left to talk about. And this is when this was a part of the season where I was like, oh shit, this thing is getting crazy. You got it to where Aqua and Kana kind of go out on a date, I guess you want to call it that. Akane, well, and then he ends up going on a date with Akane, and he basically reveals to Akane everything that he's been doing up to this point. And then only ended off the episode with Ruby, um, not meeting, but walking past her and Aqua's father. But let's get to it. So, Kana and Aqua, they basically are going out on a date together. And I forgot to mention this in the last episode review, but we see Okana, she's happy that Aqua's going on this retreat because she wants to use this as a way to get closer to him and maybe potentially start a relationship with him and I guess get him to like her back that type of way, right? So it was funny when they planned to say like, well, all right, I'll go help you get a suitcase or whatever, pick a suitcase out for you, right? And it's funny because throughout this entire date that they're having, she's just like double guessing things and she's thinking about other stuff, right? Like even before she's deciding what she should wear and shit like that. I'm like, oh God, this girl. I don't know why she just can't tell this dude, like, hey, I really like you. I think at some point, maybe in season 3, maybe she will confess and tell him that, I like you, and we know what Aqua's about, and we know he kind of doesn't feel that way about Kana. And again, maybe I don't see him maybe wanting to hook up with her with the fact that not only is she an actress, well, I think it's more going to do with the idol stuff. And I think if you were to do something like that, it would just remind him of I and be like, well, what if I get in the same situation like with I, yada, 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 right? Because we know how like he was very overprotective of Ruby when it comes to the idol stuff of her not wanting to do it because he didn't want the same thing to happen to her. We'll see, right? But they do get this one. They do get this night. They do get this conversation, or one the conversations like, or not one of the conversations, but you do get like these funny comedic moments to where it's looking like, oh, she's gonna do something, like for example, like I think they're walking out of one of the restaurants they were gonna eat at, like she was gonna do the honors and pay for him, but she didn't have the money, so she was, I guess, looking to get some more money out. But Aqua Basic came in and paid, and she's like, wait, he paid for me? What the hell? And I'm just like, yeah, every guy should probably pay for a girl after a bite to eat or something, unless you're both splitting the bill or something like that. Sorry, bless me. But that's when they end up having like they end up doing some more stuff, and they end up having another dinner, or they have like, I guess, dinner, and this dude booked like a whole reservation. So this man planned to have everything, and she's like, he planned out a whole reservation. I'm just like, now one, I guess he figured that, hey, might as well just have this as like some sort of backup idea, because he more than likely, it's clear he knows Kana like the back of his head, so that's probably why he set up that reservation just in case, like, oh well, I'm kind of hungry, and then yeah. But this is basically when Aqua kind of tells Kana about the whole relationship thing, right? And basically tells her like, now looking at it, maybe, I've just been thinking like maybe it's okay if I like start to be okay with dating somebody and being in a relationship with somebody, right? And romantically involved with somebody. And because Aqua tells like kind of like, I had never thought about it at some point at back then, but it's like now I'm looking at it, it's like, well, maybe it's not a bad idea, right? So it's like you clearly see now that Aqua has this change in heart, now that he doesn't have this revenge plot line for him fueling him directly, right? It's like now he can just live like a regular dude again. Like he can do the acting that he cares about, and he clearly likes doing, and then now maybe potentially getting involved romantically with somebody, right? Because he doesn't have that motivation to find his long lost father that had a role in killing Ai, right? So there's that. But Kana's like, well, you gotta do what you want to do, right? So it is. She gives him some solid advice, and it's funny because basically when they're done, she's like, well, all right, I'll see you later. And he's like, no, let me take you home, right? And he gets a taxi, and Kana's obviously like, wait, what are we doing? And she's thinking like, oh, is he taking me where I think he's taking me? And he's gonna take me somewhere where we're gonna do the stuff and he's gonna go crazy on me? And it's like she's kind of preparing for all this whole moment, even though you can clearly tell like she's not ready for it, but at the same time she's like, well, I'm scared, but I'm not mad about it. And then it's funny because then Aqua just drops her off at home and she goes back in the room and she's like, huh? I'm probably gonna get some Aqua D, and this man just dropped me off home. And I found it absolutely hilarious how she thought that was gonna happen, but Aqua did the respectable thing and just took her home. Like, of course, take her home. You don't let her walk all alone at night. You take her home and make sure she gets home safe. Absolutely hilarious. That was funny, right? So then this ends up leading into his date with Akane, right? And essentially the date with Akane kind of takes a turn, because this is when he kind of basically, well, one, he does ask, like, because like he's taking selfies and he's like, why are you even taking selfies like this? And she's like, well, I gotta do this to do this, right? And then it's funny because he says like a term from his past year, because he's an older dude in a kid's body, right? And she's like, and Akane's like, nobody has said that in a long time. What the heck are you talking about? Are you old school like that? But then this ends up leading into the conversation that they end up having on the bridge, which was the same bridge he had with her when he saved her from from season 1 when she almost killed herself, right? And basically, this is when he basically reveals everything to Akane, right? He basically talks about actually having a proper relationship and actually having that, right? But he doesn't exactly feel that type of way for Akane, and Akane already knew that. She's like, oh, I know you don't like me like that, don't you? And obviously Aqua's like, well, yeah, I don't really like you romantically like that, right? And see, the thing is, Akane is trying to like get him to tell the truth, like get him to come out and say like, well, just because you feel like that doesn't mean I'm gonna like leave you alone. I always want to be by your side. One, the reason why she's saying that is because she's grown attached to him since everything that's happened. Two, I do think she genuinely does like him because, like, let's be honest, like the dude literally saved her from killing herself and basically told her like, no, you matter, right? And he was there for her, albeit this was a fake relationship between the two. She's clearly, through the times that they hung out, she's gotten close to him and she started to like him actually romantically, right? And two, she already knows, like, you know, he's trying to find his father to get revenge and kill him. So she's having all these emotions, right? Like, it's crazy at the point where, like, she is like, look, I understand, but you know, just tell me how you truly feel. Like, I'm okay with it all, right? I'm okay with taking all this burden that you have and putting it on myself as well. She talked about, like, you know, I'm okay with kissing you, right? And she even goes as far to even say, like, you know, shit, I'm okay with having the SCX. And she said, like, I'm okay with having sex with you. I'm like, yo, this girl is crazy. Which is absolutely crazy. Which, one, it goes to show you, like, albeit she likes Aqua, she's grown too much of an attachment to him to the point she feels like she needs him in his life 100% of the time. She feels like, no, he needs me, and if I can maybe lure him into staying with me, then that's the thing, you know. Let me do the simple thing. What are all guys okay with doing? Oh, right, I know guys, they like girls' bodies. maybe I say, hey, you can kiss me as much as you want. Oh, that doesn't work? I'll give you my body. You want to freaking have the sex? Let's do it. I'm okay with doing that. Which is crazy for like a teenage high school girl to say that. Like, I'm okay with giving you my body, right? Because she's grown this attachment to him, and to the point she's only dependent on him, right? And she feels like only I can be there for him and help him. At the same time, she's afraid to let go. She's afraid to see where maybe Aqua goes his own path and maybe hooks up with someone else or does his own thing, right? And it leaves her alone. Like, through the first two seasons since they first met, we can clearly tell she's been very dependent on him. And when you're dependent on somebody, it makes you go into this corner where you feel like you can't do anything without them. So she really hasn't grown, which we'll talk about in a bit. So Aqua basically confesses and tells everything that he's been doing. Tells him how he's got the DNA test, told him how he found out that his father is actually dead, that he is and he found this out from his half brother. And the fact is, now that his father's dead, he doesn't have, that eye for revenge anymore. Like, it's gone now. And it's like, now he wants to actually live a regular life and actually see the bright side of things, right? And you just have this look on Akane where she's just like, you see the dead look in her eyes where she's just like, huh? You don't want to kill your father? What? This revenge plotline is what? And she's like, oh, well, actually I gotta go. I'll catch you later. I'll see you soon. And obviously Aqua's like, all right. And you just have it to where Akane's walking away, and you just have this look of like fear. And she's like, just like, his father's dead, his half brother, and stuff like that. Like, what's that? And I think this is when, like I just mentioned, the dependency. She's addicted to him. Like, Aqua is a drug to Akane. Because Aqua's been with her the entire time, and especially with the fact that Aqua was man enough to confess to her a few episodes ago, like, hey, I'm doing this. And he even tells her in this whole scene too, like, hey, I've been using you this entire time. And even Akane already told him, like, oh, yeah, I figured you were using me this entire time. So even after Aqua said everything, basically said how he kind of, in a weird way, kind of used and abused Akane for his own end goals, right? Akane, because she has this addiction to Aqua, this attachment to him, she was okay with that. And she was okay with, oh, maybe, yeah, I know I'm being used. I know he's neglecting me like that. But, it's not too bad because he's focusing on me. And it's actually not too bad. He's actually does pay attention to me sometimes, right? And she's breaking down this whole thing. And I think the whole point of, she's fearful, like, well, if he doesn't have this lust for revenge, then he's going to forget about me. He's going to leave me. He's going to dump me. And he's going to have no use for me anymore. Which basically means she was okay with being used by Aqua. She was okay with kind of, I guess in a weird way, you can be, I guess in a weird way she's saying, she's okay with being a slave to Aqua, and basically maybe Aqua was acquisitioning to all of his probably demands, and maybe even being used for his revenge plotline, even if she knew, like, hey, I'll probably get in trouble if Aqua to tell me, hey, go do some digging about this. I don't care if I get in trouble. I'm doing this for Aqua, right? Because she's only focused on Aqua. She has the addiction to Aqua because she now feels, with Aqua doing everything he's done for her, she feels like, if Aqua leaves me, I have nothing else to live for. He's the main reason why I'm even living till this day. Because of all that harassment that was going on, I was going to kill myself. But Aqua is the main reason I'm alive today. He's my everything. He's my drug, right? And if he loses what means most, he's just going to kick me to the curb like it's nothing else, which is weird that she's thinking about that. But again, she's like a teenage girl. So of course she's going to think like that, right? Because she has these fears like, oh, he's going to leave me. Right. And Aqua's already told me, like, he doesn't want to kiss me. He doesn't want to do the sex. And he's already told me he doesn't like me like that romantically. So she has these fears like, oh, we're not gonna be together again, you know? And this is when, I don't know. It seems to me what she's gonna try to do is she's gonna try to find that revenge spark in Aqua and get him back on that revenge plot line. So then it's like, if I can find any sort of evidence to prove that his father is still alive, I got him. And when he is back on the revenge mindset, he's going to use me again. And when he uses me again, that's when, in a weird way, I can prey upon that weakness of it. Because now she knows that's a weakness of his. Now the fact that Aqua basically told her everything of how desperate he was to find his mother's killer, right? Which is his father. And now that she's known that, she knows, oh, if I can find a way to get him to go back to his old self, to try to get this revenge plot line back on his mind, I got him right where I want him, and he's mine, and he will only trust me with everything, and I can use him, which then obviously maybe adds into maybe while he's kind of using her and in a weird way abusing her, right? She's morally doing the abusing for her own selfish reasons, and maybe that's when we could maybe see it to where, hey, you only need me and I can help you get what you want. Let me do it. And that will only coerce, maybe she's thinking maybe that can I don't know how to say it, like, I guess you can say convince him to make the relationship 100%, and maybe she'll do things to tempt him to do things that he might not want to do, which is the kissing, the making out, and maybe going all the way with him to basically seal the deal. Because maybe the whole goal is, maybe if he gets me pregnant by doing this, he has to stick with me. And we already know, like, from we heard early in the episode, right, that Ruby, if she ever were to find out that Aqua were to do something like that with a girl, she would hate him for the rest of his life. And that only adds so many layers. Like, if that actually does happen, and maybe, for example, she walks in on them doing that stuff, and she's like, "What are you doing, brother? Have you not learned the lessons from mom?" That could be everything. So it looks like Akane may be trying to abuse Aqua in her own way because she has this attachment that she feels. I just don't know why she just can't tell him, like, I'm afraid to lose you and everything. I don't know why she just can't pour her heart. And if Aqua just is like, hey, look, I don't thank you, I understand that, but I just don't like you like that, she should move on. But again, Aqua was the one guy that saved her from killing herself. So for her, that's the one person in her life that actually matters. Everybody else is like, oh yeah, nice. Like her friends on the show, it's nice that she has a connection with them, but she's not cooled in with Aqua because they actually had moments together. They actually, even albeit it was a fake relationship, they were in a weird way still dating, and she felt some sort of way, and she was happy by that. They were basically the main play. They were the main actors in the play that we saw in the first half of the season. So there's that. So you get that whole shocking factor, only to get left off on the cliffhanger where Ruby is basically at the grave of Ai, basically saying, like, Aqua's doing a lot better. I think he's finally gotten over your death, which is good, right? And she talks about, like, I'm gonna still honor your legacy and everything. So yeah, so she's walking away, and then all of a sudden you see this one guy walking past her, and he's got awfully similar, like, hair to her and Aqua, and basically is like, Ruby Hoshino. And he goes up to the grave of Ai Hoshino, and it's like, well. It's nice to understand that I just saw our daughter, huh? Right? And he's obviously referencing that to Ai. And basically, this episode reveals that clearly it must look like that Ai, or Aqua, and Ruby's father more than likely maybe faked their death and maybe put in the papers like they did die, but in reality he's still alive, right? Unless Aqua somehow got the wrong DNA testing, which I don't know, man, who knows? But the father is still out there, and I don't know what the hell he's got in plan for Ruby, but it looks like he's got an interest in his daughter. What we may see, I don't know. Is he going to use his methods and try to use Ruby in his own selfish ways to maybe kind of set Ruby up in the same path that happened with I? Don't know. We'll just have to see. But that episode ended off in a way. I remember when I first watched that episode, I was like, bro, what the hell is going to happen to end off this show? But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts, hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Oshi No Ko content or any other anime content I upload to the channel and things like that. But till then, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your day or your night or whenever you're checking out this video, and I will catch you guys later. Till then, guys, peace.